Today on Jimbo Vision, it's the Steve Jobs movie, aka Return of the Mac.
Brian Little.
Yes, here at last it is, the third biopic so far about Steve Jobs, the great tech innovator. Now, 3 movies may sound like a lot for what is essentially a man from the phone company, but let's not forget that Jobs was a man who's pretty much changed the world as we know it. He's the fellow who brought you this, and this, but who perhaps most importantly didn't bring you this. And so I guess he's earned another big screen outing. Is this one any good then? Well, the first thing to say is that with director Danny Boyle and writer Aaron Sorkin and a tremendous cast, this is a very high quality production. Sorkin, who did the 2010 geek tragedy The Social Network, turns in another extremely quotable screenplay here. Peppy and pacey, full of people walking fast and talking faster, a la West Wing. It's divided into 3 acts, each one dealing with the immediate build-up to one of Jobs' massive product launches, and each one featuring essentially the same cast of characters. There's Jeff Daniels as John Scully, the erstwhile boss and mentor. Kate Winslet, unrecognisable, thankfully, as Joanna Hoffman, as Steve's business partner and confidant. There's Seth Rogen as Steve Wozniak, or was, a sort of Banquo's ghost turning up and grumbling at each of the big occasions. And as the Mac Daddy himself, Michael Fassbender. Now, Fassbender at the moment has got more gigs than 3 iPhones. Just the other day, indeed, he was scurrying around the Highlands in Woad and Tartan as Macbeth. Here he turns in yet another mega-wattage star turn as a sort of I Macbeth, belittling some, charming others, bullying pretty much all and sundry. Basically, he's not very PC. But then again, he is Apple. He's also insufferably glib. God sent his only son on a suicide mission, but he made trees, so we love him anyway, as he himself opines in the film by way of explaining his own complex relationship with his daughter, one of the many choice lines from Sorkin's screenplay. It's a busy film, this, and Danny Boyle's handling of it is steady and assured, the first act in particular crackling with tension and wit. There are, though, rather fewer visual flourishes than Danny usually provides, rather less invention, if you will, and I did wonder whether his heart was entirely in what's essentially a glossy corporate flick. After all, as he admits, he only made this movie after his own pet project, a David Bowie musical, fell through, and while polished, this film certainly barely scratches the surface of who Jobs was and what he did. Teasingly, we never actually see what made Steve's Apple great, the presentations, the inventions, the exploiting Asian workforces. Now, there are some interesting themes raised, like what makes a man important, his personality or what he produces. There's also some very interesting insights into Steve's own family background. Apparently he was the son of a Syrian immigrant. However, I still left the movie feeling that I hadn't quite found out as much as I wanted about Jobs, that I hadn't quite got my Jobs worth. At the end of the day, though, it is an entertaining film, this, about Steve Jobs, and if you have to see a film about Steve Jobs, then this is probably the one to see. A bit like one of his iPhones, it is perhaps a little thin, but it is very high quality and packed with entertainment for the couple of hours that it lasts. What is that, design standard at Cupertino? Anyway, give it a big fat 6.5 out of 10 from Jimbo Vision. Oh, and many thanks to everyone who subscribed, and hey you, why not join them?